Afternoon, ladies and gents, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is an interesting piece of news, all in the ever-evolving development of Alec Baldwin and the Helena Hutchins shooting, which I've covered extensively here on the channel, and many of you have appreciated that coverage. So thank you so much. Excuse the voice, I'm a little bit under the weather, and as such, obviously, there may be a few more words said here or there, and, somewhat, because I am a little bit under the weather, so I do apologise. That being said, this doesn't look great on Alec Baldwin, I'm not going to lie. Alec Baldwin and Hilaria Baldwin have deleted their Twitter accounts. Now, I know that sounds really like, oh, well, what are you talking about? Why does this matter? It really does. The public perception does matter. And this followed almost immediately his ABC interview, where he was called out for talking nonsense, that he didn't pull the trigger on the gun. Now, I say talking nonsense because ultimately the type of gun that it was, you have to pull the hammer back quite extensively. I think it's about 4 or 5 clicks, if I remember rightly, and then the trigger can be pulled. You have to engage these mechanisms on that type of weapon for the trigger mechanism to work. It's just how it works. It's how it functions. So like I say, on face value it seems a bit, why am I talking about this? But again, public perception really does matter. And make no mistake, at each point everyone has been basically trying to cause reasonable doubt in the jury's eyes, because ultimately this will go to trial, and as such what they've all been trying to do is cause or try to throw in reasonable doubt. Alec Baldwin, I didn't pull the trigger, it just went off. The armourer, I don't know whether I checked it that much, I'm not sure, but I left it at lunch. And David Halls, well, actually David Halls, in fairness, has probably been the only one which has been pretty honest, going, yeah, I just shouted. David Halls has been pretty honest, to be fair. Like he seems like an idiot, but he's been honest and basically saying, yeah, I didn't really check that much. Everyone's been looking to cause reasonable doubt. That's what they want in the jury's eyes. And then immediately after that interview, boom, they've cancelled. They've deleted their Twitter accounts. So let's take a look at it, because again, it is interesting nonetheless. And when we're talking about the public perception of these things, this doesn't look great on face value, on public perception. So we've got Alec Baldwin's main Twitter account has been deleted. Big thing, been deleted. Just days after his first sit-down interview since the fatal shooting of cinematographer Helena Hutchins. Now, I also believe apparently he's been posting some strange cryptic things on his Instagram as well. Like, his lawyer needs to get him to stop. Just stop. His attorneys need to get him to stop. The interview was a bad idea. Deleting this is a bad idea. Just go to trial. Just write it out. This reeks of a man trying to save his career rather than his, well, I guess the sort of cause of justice there. Baldwin, 63, had 2 verified Twitter accounts, one of which he was particularly active on, and it is that account that has been shut down and deleted from social media. So in November, the account switched its settings to private, meaning the only users that followed him would be able to see anything, but that account has now completely disappeared. Now, it could be that he's just deactivated it for a little bit, because I think inevitably probably would have gotten some abuse from the nonsense of, I didn't pull the trigger. Well, come on now, a poltergeist didn't do it for you. The hammer, because I copped some flack when I reported on that, because a lot of people were, going, well, yeah, but what if he didn't pull the trigger? And I'm like, yeah, that's fine, but the hammer has to be pulled back on that weapon. So, at any stage of that, he would have had to have armed the gun. The hammer basically arms the gun, and then the trigger, sends the explosive projectile out, and obviously subsequently, unfortunately, leads to death. The second account, Alec Baldwin, still appears to be active on Monday, although the most recent tweet was from October 19th, with any prior content being from June. But then, interestingly enough, so Baldwin's Hilaria and Alec Baldwin Foundation account is now set to private, That's a foundation account. Why is that set to private? By Monday morning, that account, along with Hilaria's personal Twitter account, was also deleted. That was in November, so that's all gone. Hilaria has, kept her Instagram account, still posting stuff up there, and Alec too. But Alec has been putting some strange, cryptic stuff up on his Instagram. I don't understand why. His attorneys need to get a handle on him. His handlers need to get a handle on him. At present, it's not known what prompted the actor and his wife to delete their stuff, although obviously the timing, coincides with last week's sit-down interview with ABC's George Stephanopoulos, in which Baldwin gave his version of what happened on the New Mexico movie set of Rust, which I think most people with body language expertise would be able to tell it wasn't the most legitimate of interviews. The interview saw Baldwin assert that he did not pull the trigger that caused the gun to fire. He instead explained how he was rehearsing the scene with Hutchins, which required him to pull the hammer back on the weapon, and it was at that point that the gun went off. Now, that obviously coincides with what I said, but you really shouldn't be arming a weapon and pointing it at someone. Now, that will throw out reasonable doubt, by the way, just as a quick aside. That will throw reasonable doubt in the jury's eyes, because triggers have been known to go off when you've pulled a hammer back. Mechanisms can foul. But the thing about that is that there have already been reports that there were accidental discharges, like guns were going off, i.e., hammers were pulled back and then boom, it had already gone off. There's a couple of reports of that from the crew members that walked off, the union crew members. So the problem is in doing that and in that interview, it still damns him, because as the executive producer on set, along with other producers on set, and people, citing safety concerns, and them then being ignored, well, that doesn't really sound very good, does it? Because what they then cited as a safety concern has then led to the death of someone. So, sort of proves them right, doesn't it, really? And here you go, all of it just deleted. And then, this article focuses on his wife, posted images of herself. I mean, that doesn't really matter. Like, that's not something which you should really get involved in. That's not really part of it. It's Alec Baldwin specifically, rather than anyone else. They start talking about, the fact that him and his wife were grabbing coffee. It's like, yeah, they can go out and get coffee, mate. Like, calm down. Like, it's okay. That's not disrespectful, them going and grabbing a cup of joe. But I think what is, potentially disrespectful about all of this is just the fact that, in the interview here, which they cite here, during the interview, Baldwin maintained that he did not pull the trigger on the handgun and that it just went off. I let go of the hammer, bang, the gun goes off. Everyone is horrified, they're shocked, it's loud. And he also revealed that in the moments after the shooting, he did not realise Hutchins had been hit, saying he originally thought that she'd fainted or had a heart attack. I mean, if she had a heart attack, you should still rush over. And it did not occur to him until around 45 minutes later that it could have been live ammunition put in the antique prop gun for the Western film Rust. They kept saying she's stable, just as you disbelieve that there was a live round in the gun. You disbelieve it's going to be a fatal accident, Baldwin told Stephanopoulos. At the end of my interview with the Sheriff's Department, they told me, we regret to inform you she didn't make it. They told me then and there. That's when I went outside and called my wife. Someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who it is, but it's not me. And I think, again, in the interview, he's been told by police, in the know, that it is highly unlikely he'll face criminal charges. Honest to God, if I thought I was responsible, I might have killed myself, and I don't say that lightly. I would never believe any actor in an interview, ever, actually. Ever. Mainly just because, they are actors, they are employed quite literally just to act. So, yeah, a bit disrespectful. Just to sit there and go, I'm not responsible at all. I mean, as an executive producer, there is a certain amount of responsibility that goes, towards you as well. So there you go. There you have it. Deleted all the tweets, the Twitter accounts. Twitter is obviously a cesspit of the universe, full of absolute dipshit douche canoes. But strange timing. I would imagine they were just copping a lot of flack, and maybe that's why. But still, strange timing and worthwhile doing a video on. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you're new here, do it, subscribe. Cheers. Take care.